Hey there, everyone, and welcome back to another crypto market update. My name is Brendan from Crypto 101, and I hope all of you are having a fantastic late start to your week after that long weekend. I know that we're coming back here and we're seeing a little bit of a pullback in the crypto markets. We're seeing Bitcoin fall about 1 to 2% over the past couple of days. We're seeing altcoins fall anywhere from 5 to 10%. However, I want to talk about not only what's going on in the market, but some of the big driving factors that are going to be working behind the scenes that you probably haven't heard about yet and that you need to know about as we move into February and really kind of even just going through the later parts of this year, because I think all of these can act as a major catalyst to propel us to new highs. So with that being said, I hope all of you do enjoy the content. All that we ask is that if you like the free stuff that we put out there, check out that like button, hit that subscribe button, and maybe check out some of those links in the description down below as well. So let's kick things off. What is the catalyst here that is kind of pushing us to the downside? And it seems to be just a little bit of uncertainty. And in recent weeks, we've talked about some of the fear, uncertainty, and doubt that has been going on kind of around the crypto space. However, what we are now starting to see is a really, really big shift towards a lot of potential fundamental changes. So for a while, we were looking at, especially inside the United States, saying, hey, we're going to get this Bitcoin strategic reserve. We're going to see higher levels of adoption. And because that has been postponed, we have seen a little bit of a pullback in the crypto market. We're not immediately getting the Bitcoin strategic reserve. We're not immediately having Bitcoin being bought up or added in from some of these institutions. And we're also not immediately getting new cryptocurrency ETFs for altcoins. And because of that, we are seeing people just sell off because they were anticipating maybe a much more drastic move at the moment of the kind of transition and power inside of the new administration, basically going from the Biden administration to the Trump administration. And people were saying, hey, we are hoping that it would be a lot bigger of a crypto reaction in terms of a strategic reserves, new altcoin ETFs, or you name it. So that's the primary reason why we're seeing a little bit of a bleed and sell-off that's kind of been steady for a few weeks here in the crypto markets. However, in the background, it could not be more positive. There could not be better fundamentals, and that's what I want to talk about here. So let's kick things off with Standard Chartered, because they're saying, hey, we see more sovereign wealth funds buying Bitcoin, and this is a big deal. Because the U.S. just said, hey, we're looking into starting a sovereign wealth fund. And one of the big things that people are speculating and, are almost certain, right? We can't say with certainty, but they're saying in almost certainty that could be added into that and is likely to be added into that is Bitcoin and potentially even other cryptocurrencies, potentially even through the ETFs as a means of buying or holding them. So they're saying, hey, Bitcoin is not only being eyed up by the US right now, but countries around the world, sovereign wealth funds around the world, and this is a really bullish thing for the crypto markets. Now, why does this matter from Standard Chartered? Well, they are this giant asset manager, right? They manage and they work with a lot of different countries. So they offer their services in this multinational approach. And on top of that, they have $135 billion in assets that's expected to grow to almost $200 billion in assets over the next several years here. So they're a rather large asset manager. They hold a lot of weight. Holding over $100 billion in assets under management is no small feat. And so when they're saying this kind of stuff, I think that it should matter and it should hold weight. Now, on top of this, they're saying, hey, we still think Bitcoin is maintaining its projection for $500,000 by the year 2028. Now, I'll be the first one to come out and say, I think that this is probably too conservative of an estimate. I think that $500,000 is certainly possible before 2028. However, I do think that this is, roughly in line with our expectations. Again, maybe I'm a little bit biased. I'm a little bit of a crypto enthusiast, as most of you know. So I think it's possible before then. However, they're saying, hey, probably in the normal to bear case, we could still see this happening, a $500,000 Bitcoin in the next 3 years. So think about it right now. If Bitcoin is right around 94,000 and they think that it can be at 500,000 in the next couple of years, well, it's over a 5x from where it's currently priced at, right? Going from 90K up to 500K. Not a bad return if you ask me, if it does end up happening. So they're pretty big on this. Obviously, BlackRock's been really big on this. They talk about this over here saying, hey, after Abu Dhabi's recent investment in BlackRock's Bitcoin ETF, Standard Chartered is saying very, very similar things. So we're seeing this globally. We're seeing it in the US. We're seeing it in other sovereign wealth funds. Abu Dhabi just came in with a big investment into BlackRock's Bitcoin ETF. We see the inflows being really high. Even just last week, we were talking about how the supply of Bitcoin on exchanges was shrinking, and this just continues to happen as we are looking at it this way. Now, kind of going back to the U.S. here, what we've seen is that 32 states now have some sort of Bitcoin legislative efforts so far in 2025. Now, why is this a big deal? Well, if you remember just like a week or two ago, we were doing an episode of either the Rundown or on this channel, and we were saying, hey, there's now 10 different states that have applied for some sort of Bitcoin legislation or some sort of Bitcoin or crypto bill. And that was a big deal. We were saying, hey, who knows, by the end of this year, by the end of next year, we could have 30 states, 40 states. Well, it turns out we didn't need a year. We needed less than a month. We needed like a week. And now going from 10 to 32, you can see that this is growing at an exponential rate, which means that the United States does not only want to adopt Bitcoin on a national level, but on a state level as well. So like a federal level is probably the correct way to say it. But the United States not only wants to adopt it on a federal level, but they're looking at doing this on a state level for the majority of the United States. So this is a big deal. Adoption is growing, again, in a bunch of different ways. This is another cool one, kind of looking at the institutional side. We know MicroStrategy has been buying. We know that companies all over the place have been interested in Bitcoin. Even Microsoft was just looking at it. There's rumors that Google is now looking at it as well. We've seen Metaplanet over in Japan has been super active in accumulating Bitcoin. We're seeing it in Abu Dhabi just over the last week. We're seeing it in sovereign wealth funds. Well, now GameStop is the next one on the list here. And now they are considering investing in Bitcoin, which is a big deal because they have over $4.5 billion in cash. So they're just the next one on the list. And in light of this news, if we actually go and we look at GameStop, this thing went on a tear off of this news, going up from around $25, about 12.5% to the upside, to nearly $29. So they saw quite the big ripper as people are excited about this kind of news. And then the final thing that I'll say here is just kind of looking at the altcoin market, seeing a little bit of FUD. I know that on the day, Solana's down about 8%, Ethereum's down 4%, XRP's down 6.5%, AVAX is down 7.5%. Well, guys, there's some good news here. The fundamentals have not changed. They still look great. What we're seeing here is that Solana's DEX trading volume continues to lead. So when we're looking at a lot of this, there's still a lot of things going on. Solana's still alive. Ethereum's still alive. We're seeing positive stuff everywhere. And it's hard to get too down about what's happening over here, especially when the numbers actually look quite amazing in the background. So there's all sorts of fundamentals that look great. I don't want everyone to be too bearish about what's happening in the crypto markets. Yes, are we seeing a pullback? Yes, does it hurt? However, I think that what we get out of these dips are some of the better buying opportunities that we have seen in a really long time. And I cannot tell you when Solana was pushing up, let's just use it as an example. When Solana was pushing up close to $300, people were saying, man, I wish I could have bought at half that at $150. If only I would have bought in at $100, $150, $200. Now I could have sold at $300. Well, now we're finally coming back to that same area, and it's happening on a handful of other altcoins, right? People are saying, man, I wish I could have bought XRP at $2.50 when it reached $3.40. I wish I could have bought AVAX at $23 when it went all the way up to like 55, almost $60 just a few short months ago. I wish I could have bought Aerodrome below $1 when it peaked at over $2.30 or whatever it was. And the list goes on, right? So we're seeing a lot of altcoins come back to some really, really valuable areas. And, I think that they are going to be worth re-examining here in the not so distant future. So thank you all for watching this video. That's going to go ahead and wrap us up over here. I hope all of you did enjoy it. And if you did, again, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button as well. Now, if you're new here and you want to get plugged in to a great crypto community, we got some awesome links for you in the description down below. You can check them out. You can join us at Crypt Nation, where you can find thousands of like-minded individuals that are constantly plugged in and talking about the crypto space. They're talking about different altcoins and projects and trading ideas, and you name it. We got thousands of people that are doing this inside of Crypt Nation. You can also check out the link in the description down below for a book that my good old buddy Bryce Paul wrote called The Crypto Revolution, and that's going to be down there as well. So thank you all for watching, and until the next video, we're going to see all of you at the same time, same place next week.